And we are live.
Welcome, everybody, in a week of Prince Harry throwing shade on Buckingham Palace. Another footballing Harry has wreaked havoc on Crystal Palace, correct?
Exactly. A week of Harry's smashing palaces. Yeah.
Exactly. Welcome, everybody, to the Anglo-Italian pod. We are live from Milan together, finally.
Oh.
I'm Tommaso Dami, and you can find us on Instagram at Anglo-Italian pod.
And I'm Rory. You can find us on Twitter at Italian Anglo Pod. And this week we are joined by my good friend and friend of the show, Thomas. How are we doing, Thomas?
Hello, guys. Yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Where are you calling us from, Tom?
I'm calling you from not so sunny Sandbach in Cheshire in England.
Nice. And there is a specific reason why you're on with us tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a part, well, mainly it's just to gloat about how good West Ham are for once, really. That's my only reason for coming on. Normally I'd avoid it like the plague because it's just depressing talking about my team, West Ham. But at the moment I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, that's why I'm on.
Nice, and we're very happy to have you on for the first time since November. I think that's when we recorded the Halloween special. Yeah,
I think I did a Christmas one as well.
You did the Christmas one. It's just we don't remember it, right?
Yeah, there is a reason why I don't remember that one. We'll talk about the West Ham game in depth later. Just how are you feeling? We both have a big game coming up tonight. How are you feeling?
Yeah. I'm feeling confident, as confident as I can with West Ham. Yeah, we beat Leeds earlier in the season. We're in really good form at the moment, so all the signs are good. But just like any other game in football, you never really know.
Nice. So we're going to go around Europe on our Euro review blimp, as tradition says, and we're going to start from Germany, I would say.
Germany, let's fly to Berlin.
And here we go with our, oh my God, guys, we have become so technologically advanced. It's not even funny. Like, I can't believe that we've put all of this together. And we start from the Bundesliga, where I checked the score for Borussia Dortmund Bayern after 10 minutes, and I said, oh no, I cannot believe it. He's already got one. And then as I was checking the result, he had another one. But then Lewandowski said, I am boss, baby.
Mate, this game was ridiculous. So obviously I had to find a less than legal stream. And the stream, as always, you get all the coverage perfectly. And then just as kickoff is about to happen, the stream dies, right? So the stream went, I was like rushing, finally got stream back, and it was 2-0. I was like, I missed both the goals. So I managed to catch them afterwards. But my God, what a start from Haaland. Two very different goals as well. Like, very different. One absolute rocket, and another one, like we've seen before, his running movement and a kind of tap in. Like, what a player! What a start!
It's one of those goals that are just like anybody could tap that in. But then you watch the replay and you see all the movement in the box. The guy doesn't leave anything to chance. Did you watch the game, Tom?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because I was saying to Rory the other day, I've not really watched much European football recently, but because I had a bet on, and that game was on along with the Barcelona game. I watched both of those games in their entirety, and Haaland is just something else, isn't he? I mean, he just can, the way he kind of he's got power, but also so much control when he hits the ball into the net as well. It's incredible, because most strikers either have one or the other. They either place it or smash it. He just has both, and at such an early age, to have that control and movement off the ball as well. It's amazing.
It is scary. If he comes to the Premier League, I'm worried about who he's going to sign for, because if he goes to City, it's game over for a while, I think.
Yeah, there are rumors of City looking for a new striker from next season. And Roy, what do you make of this game besides the Haaland brace?
I feel like Dortmund started off really well, like Dortmund are prone to do. But then the second Bayern got their first goal, you knew exactly what was going to happen. That first goal, and I thought, Dortmund are going to stack it here. And I would have put all my money at that point on Bayern to win it. And it just seems like we've talked about with Real and Atletico, that kind of mental block that Atletico kind of have, which we'll get on to.
Yeah, unfortunately. Jesus.
It feels like with Dortmund, there's the same kind of thing. I think when there's a league that's so heavily dominated by one team, like in Germany, it's kind of like a complex that might kind of seep in. And the writing was on the wall. Then by halftime, Bayern Munich were level, Lewandowski with 2.
And Haaland got picked up a little injury to his foot, and he couldn't play the majority, I believe, of the second half.
His face at the end of the game. At the end of the game, he was fuming. But Lewandowski, what can you say, Tom? Watching Lewandowski, just how good is he this year? Is this him at his peak?
It is, yeah. I mean, in a way, it's a little bit sad that he didn't peak a little bit sooner because he's, 32, 33 now. So it would have been nice to have him at like, I know he was still good that young, but 21, 22, he would have been good if he peaked because he would have been up there with Messi and Ronaldo, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
But he is an incredible player. And to see him and Haaland both facing off at the same time is something else, really. They're both amazing players.
And staying in the Bundesliga, RB Leipzig, who are sitting second on the chart right now, they defeated 3-0 Freiburg away from home. They're still sitting only 2 points behind Bayern Munich. But Rory, do you think that they have a concrete chance of snatching the title from the Reds, I would call them?
Well, I think if there's one year that Leipzig are going to do it, it's this year. I think I was looking at their players, and Nkunku and Sorloth both now have a goal and an assist each in both of the last 2 games. So their strike partnership is really starting to click together, and they're looking quite formidable. Like Freiburg, we've seen this year, they're really pushing. They're 8th at the moment, not massively out of contention for Europe, so they're having a good season. And for Leipzig to kind of sweep them aside so easily was impressive, especially away. I know away games don't matter as much now, but still a very good performance. I felt it was really predictable to have like Nkunku, Sorloth, and Forsberg as the scorers. I was like, oh, if anyone had said to me, name the 3 scorers, I would have been like, okay, those 3. Which says a lot about the consistency of their strike partnership as well.
Only Sabitzer was missing. The other one that could have been a good one.
Exactly. There was no Thunder Bastard to join in, unfortunately. But especially Forsberg just coming back from a knee injury as well. He's back into form in his second game. So Leipzig are looking threatening, but Bayern are just so inevitable. They're just so inevitable.
They've just got that ability to grind out wins, haven't they? And just kind of, because it's similar to the Liverpool-Man City scenario. Liverpool can win when they're on top form, but City can just win whenever. And it's the same in Germany with Bayern. I think they've come back because even when they were 2-0 down, the commentators on the stream I was listening to were saying they've done the last 2 or 3 home games, they've gone 2-0 down and they've ended up winning. So there was complete confidence. You could see it in the team. They weren't daunted by going 1 or 2 goals down, even to Dortmund, who are probably historically the second best team in the league. So they just know how to win games, don't they?
Yeah.
And I can't see Leipzig or Dortmund being able to maintain it for the whole season, unfortunately, because it would be nice to see someone else win it.
Yeah, the thing is that Leipzig have now got 6 consecutive wins in Bundesliga. So there was a little slip against Liverpool. But besides that, ever since that defeat, 4 wins in the Bundesliga, conceding only 2 goals in the 3-2 win against Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Well,
fingers crossed they keep it up.
This is it, exactly. And I think weirdly, after that Liverpool result, their focus now is fully on the Bundesliga. I think obviously they're gonna give the second leg a go. Of course they are, but their focus now is going to be right. Let's just maintain this title challenge and see if they can take it on. It's an interesting situation because people in Germany generally hate Bayern Munich, right? If you're not a Bayern Munich fan, but if there's one team that people hate more in Germany, it's Leipzig because of their owners, because they don't have the 50+1 structure. So there's this real dilemma in Germany of like, oh crap, who do we want to win it? That maybe they want Bayern to win it. I don't know. But
yeah. We shall see. Any other takeaways from the Bundesliga weekend, Rory?
I wanted to give a bit of props to Hertha Berlin, who won their first game in 9. Christopher Piontek got his 6th goal in 14 games this season. They won from an 89th minute penalty, and they were 1-0 down. This now puts them just outside of the relegation zone by 2 points. But Arminia Bielefeld in 16th below them have a game in hand. So it's definitely not certain for the Berlin club yet, but a bit of a lifeline. Beyond that, everyone at the bottom drew. Schalke drew with Mainz 0-0. Arminia Bielefeld drew with Augsburg 0-0. Cologne drew 1-1. So it was all even at the bottom. So not much movement. So that could be a big win for Hertha. With everyone else dropping points, it could be a bit of a spark. And it was good to see Piontek scoring again. You know, I like Polish players. I want to see Polish players doing well.
I just remember Piontek when he was at AC Milan. There was such a huge hype around the guy.
He started really well, though.
Yeah, and then they let him go, like with we would say con un calcio nel culo in Italian, which means with a kick on the butt. And there you go, Christoph. See you later. So, shall we move to Spain?
Let's go, vamos.
Sounds good.
Let's do it. So, Tom, I hope you're getting used to the movement in our blimp. We move around Europe.
It's a bit rocky. I do get a bit travel sick, but
let's wait for the correct picture to come in.
There we go. We're over Spain.
We are in Madrid, but we're going to start from a team. We've got a little leeway since we were talking about Dortmund. There is a team that is going to face Dortmund this week, and it's Sevilla, and they are not looking that intimidating. They have lost 4 games of their last 5, having won only 1 against Osasuna, and over the weekend they lost 2-1 to Elche. And guess who scored for them, though? The man who never scored in the Premier League, but keeps scoring for Sevilla.
Not Negredo, is it?
No, for Sevilla.
Oh,
De Jong.
De Jong. Oh, Christ, he was at Newcastle and he was terrible.
Yeah, he scored at the 91st minute to give a lifeline to Sevilla, but there was nothing to do. Elche are definitely not the most intimidating team in the league. They're sitting 17th. So I don't know if Papu Gomez chose the right side to join after his incredible spell at Atalanta.
That game absolutely knackered my accumulator. I had Sevilla to win. I was absolutely fuming at that one. I thought, who the frig are Elche? What are they doing? What's Sevilla doing? What's going on? Papu Gomez hasn't had the impact that we hoped since he arrived. 1 goal, maybe, I think.
Yeah, I think, not that impressive. Only 1 goal, and it was a Thunder Bastard or Euro goal, as we posted today on Instagram, but that wasn't enough. Sevilla are not looking that bright. They were in contention for the title, but now we see them sitting at 4th, 6 points behind Real Madrid, and right behind them are Real Sociedad at 45, and they could knock them off their Champions League perch.
Remember how well Sociedad started as well. It's good to see them still around the European spots.
Definitely.
My God, they started well. But we've seen... Sorry, Tom, go. Yeah.
I was going to say it's one of David Moyes' old haunts, that. So I've got a bit of a soft, got a bit of a soft spot for him now.
One of the man has been around more than we tend to think. I think.
I forgot.
Yeah.
David Moyes. I forgot he'd been out there.
He didn't last long,
But we've seen that, like, no matter how badly Real Madrid and Barcelona start, they never quite disappear, right?
They never do.
And they are always there. They're still on the horizon for Atleti. By Barcelona, maybe refreshed by their elections this week.
What do you make of that?
Creepy man Joan Laporta being brought
say
back
why
in.
We're saying creepy.
So I don't know if you saw this video, Tom, but it's really horrific. A kind of 17, 16-year-old girl asks him for a selfie, and as he's walking off, he says to her in Catalan, like, "Call me when you're 18," as he gets in the car, which was...
How old is he? Like 60 odd?
Yeah, he's definitely he's a lot older than her. I'll tell you that.
Very Berlusconi-like, we could say, from Laporta.
Yeah, really he's been the president before, though, hasn't he? Because I'm sure he was like around the time when they signed Ronaldinho and players like that. He
was the man who brought in Ronaldinho. Yeah,
he was. And talking about Barcelona, they pick up a 2-0 win against Osasuna with goals by Alba, who at 31 years old, he's already got 3 goals and 3 assists in this year's La Liga, and I'm pretty sure quite a few more in the Copa del Rey. Very good player. One of those players that was kind of overshadowed by all the class company that he had at Barcelona, but he's been sticking around. He's been there this whole time. He's won the same Champions Leagues as Messi. So, it's nice to see him stepping up even when the leader maybe is not delivering or not that interested in delivering that much for them.
Well, we say this, but he's still absolutely banging numbers. Like, he's still doing really well this season. It's just not the usual Messi standard, but it's also been an absolute basket case around him. Like, if you know what I mean,
I know, and that's why I wanted to leave. I was saying in the last pod that when I see Ronaldo, he's just got more of a drive than Messi does. Messi, it feels like in the back of his head, he's got that thing going around all the time, like, I should not be here right now. Don't you feel like that, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, Messi's the talent that man has is just absolutely phenomenal, isn't it? And I think perhaps he's just starting to slow down a little bit now in terms of the way he kind of moves around the pitch and kind of influences games. But he's still he's phenomenal, isn't he? He's still getting any team in the world.
No, and I mean, the two assists in the game were from Lionel Messi, of course.
Yeah, he's set the bar so high for himself, though, hasn't he? Because if he's not scoring 50 goals a season, that's kind of seen as like, oh, he's on his way out. But
no. I mean, the talent. Nobody's going to take away your talent. I'm just saying that sometimes you see him play, and even the Champions League game, who are they playing? PSG. He just he didn't have that drive. Like, he just looked
Yeah.
kind of lost. And
He wants
it's nice
to go,
see-
doesn't he? He wants to go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the assists was for He Likes Moriba. I didn't know the name. He likes.
I'm pretty sure
I
that
likes.
it sounds like a Basque name. That has to be a Basque name.
Yeah, but it was his first goal in La Liga, and that was very good to see. But then going to the big game, the Madrid derby, Rory, we haven't quite jinxed it. They haven't lost. We said that they always lose against Real Madrid. This time they haven't lost, but they got a goal against at the 88th minute, I believe. Let me double check. 88th minute.
Sergio Ramos territory, but Ramos was not playing, so
Exactly.
Benzema had to step up.
Exactly. Actually, Sergio Ramos' territory is more after the 90th minute.
That's true. That's true.
So this game, one of the few games that I kind of watched through the weekend. Wow, it was an intense game, and Atletico Madrid could have had the lead multiple times if it wasn't for Real Madrid's goalkeeper, Thibaut Courtois, who had an absolutely incredible game. He stopped everybody from scoring goals except Suarez.
That finish,
that is a Suarez finish.
Beautiful, wasn't it?
And this summer, then you'll tell me what you think about it, Tom. But when I heard that Barcelona were getting rid of Suarez, I understand everything that there is behind the salary. Barcelona are a bit of a basket case of a club right now. But then the voice leaked recently and they told him, you are too old. Now, if you are Suarez and you play in that position, Suarez will never forget how to aim for goal and shoot on goal and possibly score a goal. Now, that pass was beautiful by Llorente, who is one of the most impressive players at Atletico this season. He kind of like made a name for himself last year when he scored against Liverpool at Anfield, and he keeps appearing on the score sheet either with an assist or a goal. He had a beautiful pass. Suarez doesn't miss those. So as soon as I saw that goal, I was like, what were Barcelona thinking? Like,
it's how
you give him a throw ball and he's going to score.
Is how, like, as he ran onto the ball, he almost ran around the ball to change the angle. He was running forwards and sideways to perfect the angle so he could stroke it around the keeper. Beautiful finish.
Also because you've got Oblak in goal, and so you kind of want to consult your trickery book.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
What did you make of the goal or the game, Tom?
Yeah, Suarez is. I mean, he's the player that you love to hate because he's not. He doesn't seem like the nicest guy, does he? But I mean, on the pitch, he's absolutely phenomenal. Really. I mean, I can kind of see where Barcelona were coming from with the age thing because Messi. Suarez's game is a lot about movement and running behind. He's not really a poacher. He doesn't just sit on the 6-yard box and just knock them in. He moves in behind. He's always harrying the defenders, and he's done that for his whole career. But he's never stopped doing it. He's never kind of backed off it, and he's never shown any decline. So he perhaps the only thing he has adapted. He's got a little bit clever, so he's not constantly running around like a headless chicken anymore. He's timing his runs a little better, and he's getting in. But in terms of goal scorers, I think he's one of the ones that's kind of suffered, might be the wrong word, but I'll use it. Maybe he suffered a little bit because Ronaldo and Messi had been around. If they hadn't been around, perhaps he would have been up there. Him and Lewandowski would have been the kind of top dogs, wouldn't they? Both of them are, and just talk about Suarez specifically, he's absolutely phenomenal. I've seen him live against West Ham, and he's not had his best games in the individual games, but you can just see the class that the guy has when he gets the ball, when he's off the ball, when he's kind of moving about, and kind of the way the teams build around him.
When he bites people, he does it brilliantly.
When he's racist, whoever.
But by the way, there is very unrelated, but there is a beautiful story about Suarez that I found out in a documentary. He was in a relationship with this girl in Uruguay when he was like 17 years old, and this girl was from a very wealthy family. His family was kind of poor, and the girl moved to Spain. And Suarez talked to his coach, and it was like, dude, like, this girl is out of my league and she loves me. I'm gonna like quit football and like work in a factory to like put money together and travel to Spain. And this coach looked at him and was just like, dude, you're the best player we have in our team. What about you work your ass off in every training, and then some European club will buy you? Then he went to the Netherlands, then to England, and eventually, well, at that point he was already reunited with his girlfriend, but then he went to Barcelona too, and she lived in Barcelona, and they're married now and they have kids.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's a very nice story.
He absolutely destroyed the Premier League when he was there as well.
Oh,
For
yeah,
that Liverpool team, he was. Some of the goals he scored as well were absolutely.
Yeah, volleys from like 40 yards out, and
guys, he's an absolutely incredible player. One of the best of this generation.
Talking about the best number 9s of this generation, I think that up there in the conversation with Suarez and Lewandowski, there is also Karim Benzema. As much as we don't like him as a person that much, but hey, guess who's back in the score sheet? Guess who has stayed at Real Madrid this whole time without complaining, and like Bale or other stuff, he's been there, he's been scoring goals, and he scores yet another crucial goal for Real Madrid, who definitely would have preferred the win, but the tie is not that bad. They're only 5 points behind Atletico, but don't forget that this week Atletico are going to play their famous game in hand
against Bilbao. Just
before you move on from that one, it was a proper FIFA goal, that one, because they were just interchanged in the box, and then they just like cut the ball across last minute, and Benzema just tapped it in. That was a lovely goal.
Absolutely. I kind of felt bad for Atletico. Rory and I messaged each other like, no, Benzema, fuck.
Yeah.
But that's it with La Liga, and I think we're ready to jump to Paris to talk about a bit of Coupe de France with Rory.
De France. Now, the shirt I am wearing is a clue as to the main topic of this week's Coupe de France, and it is Marseille. They were beaten by fourth tier amateur side. Now I need to get this pronunciation right because my French isn't great. Canet-Roussillon?
Let me check the name again.
They are from the Pyrenees. The closest city is Perpignan. And now Marseille have got a part-time manager and a caretaker because Sampaoli is due to take over this week. And he is walking into an absolute disaster. I do not know how much work he has on his hands, but Marseille played a full-strength side. They had Payet, Milik, and Cham, Sakai. They had their first 11, and they were beaten 2-1 by the 4th Division outfit. Now, you might think that in a victory like this, the team kind of sat back, broke twice, got 2 goals, and did nothing. They absolutely battered Marseille.
Quite the opposite, yeah.
Absolutely battered them. And you have to check out both the goals. The first goal is like a 40-yard free kick, just goes top corner. And the winner, I don't know who, number 7, right? I don't know what his name was, but the through ball for the winning goal is absolutely beautiful for the striker to run through and just dink it over the keeper. It was incredible. And yeah, Marseille are in a bit of a mess. It's all going wrong, but Sampaoli is due to take over this week. They've now not won in their last 14 games.
And when a stat starts like they have not won, you know that it's going to be
2 wins in their last 14. 2 wins in their last 14. They are 8th in the table, and Sampaoli's good, but I don't know if he's that good.
Yeah,
I'll never shed any tears over Marseille losing with Payet in the team. That's for
sure. I'm sure you were happy to hear that Payet was crying after the game, Tom, as well. So that'll cheer you up.
Well, that happens, right? You should change it, by the way. The little symbol. I think we're showing the Serie A symbol and not the Ligue 1.
Don't highlight these things.
Sorry, I don't know, but if somebody, I don't know.
Where's it gone?
I don't know. Let's find it.
There you go. There it is. Good. There it is.
All right.
Disaster over. The one more result I want to talk about was Lens were knocked out by 3rd Division Red Star Paris. They are the 3rd oldest club in France. They are the original Paris team, and they knocked out Lens 3-2. Lens we've been talking about as the surprise package of the French season, currently in 5th, I believe. And yeah, they lost 3-2. Red Star Paris are the socialist opposition to Paris Saint-Germain's Petro Millions. So obviously, I love them. And they knocked out Lens 3-2. So that was great to see. Also, Mbappe's goal against Brest. Check it out. He scores with his weak foot, and it's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, I felt bad for the midfielder there who loses that ball. Like, he's going one direction, and then he sees Mbappe on one side and believes Sanabria on the other. I don't know what his brain told him, but he decided to, like, back up, and at that point Mbappe just touches the ball, gets it, starts running towards the opposition's box, fakes the movement to the right, moves it to his left very quickly, and then he just scores a stunner. And it was one of two. But also very interesting, I found that all Ligue 1 top 3 teams had very comfortable wins, with Lyon winning 5-2 over Sochaux, and Lille, they also won, but I can find the result right now. But yeah, 3-1. They won 3-1 against Ajaccio.
Two own goals as well to help them go through.
Anybody would take that,
nice.
right?
Yeah.
And that was the weekend in France, Rory. So shall we jump, unless you have anything more to say, to the Premier League? We'll have Premier League preview, and then a review, and then a little preview to tonight's game, West Ham Leeds, with our very own Tom Wain, calling us from England. So, Tom, actually, you pick. What is the first game that you would like to talk about from this weekend?
What have we got to choose from? I suppose the Manchester derby is the one that stands out, isn't it? But I mean,
I like it. So
let's start with that one.
I'll just say a funny story. Yesterday I spent a beautiful Sunday outside. The weather was beautiful in Milan. And the last night I got back home, I was a little tired, but I was like, I need to catch up with all the footballing action, the games that I haven't watched. So I started watching the highlights for Manchester United 2, Manchester City 0. Turns out that after 20 minutes that I was watching the highlights, I realized that something was off, and it was actually a game from last year. I was just like, the Man City jersey didn't make sense. I was just like, wait a second, that's not this year. So then
I think you might have had a few beers by this point.
Yeah, definitely. And then I watched the real highlights, and it felt like City kind of put up a fight, a little more than a fight. Not really.
I don't know what you thought, Tom, but I thought City had the ball and United just kept him at arm's length the entire time. I don't feel like City really threatened.
It's strange, really, because United have done this to City a few times in the last kind of 5 or 6 years where, again, completely against form, they've just seemed to have been able to turn them over. I mean, it's a little bit strange, but yeah, I agree with you. Man United were really comfortable, and City just looked off it. I mean, they weren't bad, but they just looked that 5 or 10% off.
Yeah.
They weren't. The tempo was lower. They weren't pressing. Cancelo was out of the game, and he's been really important for them recently. And he looked anonymous. So just really a really strange performance, really, from Man City.
Well, that's it. And it went wrong from the very beginning. Within 30 seconds, Gabriel Jesus had no need to put in that tackle and gives away a penalty. From that point, the City just looked rattled. They looked absolutely rattled. And I don't think I've ever seen De Bruyne put so many like ineffective passes. It seems like usually he's looking for the key pass or he's looking for that gap. It was either just sideways passes or backwards. There was either no one running for him or he wasn't seeing it. Gundogan was off the pace. But United were really disciplined and really clinical. And they just put the game to bed so easily. And maybe this is another psychological thing, you know? Man City often do struggle against the bigger boys, like the bigger neighbours. And Ollie is now the first Manchester United manager ever to win his first 3 away Manchester derbies.
Really?
Yeah,
that's an incredible
insane. Pep's never beaten him.
Nice. Then I'll give the word to Tom. Just one thing that kind of stood out to me finally when I watched the correct highlights of the game. It felt like, as you correctly said, De Bruyne and Gundogan looked off pace. Who kind of stepped up for Manchester City was Rodri, who I didn't really know that much about him. As always, I thought that they paid him a little too much, but turns out he's a class midfielder. And once again, I believe that you give an all right-footed midfielder to Guardiola, and he will make him work hard for 1 year. He's been there for quite some time now, puts it into the team. He had an incredible shot from outside the box that ended in the crossbar. And I felt like I noticed the same thing that you did. And I was like, well, this guy kind of realized that and he's stepping it up. He's taking the responsibilities on his shoulder. Yeah,
I think, this is where City's strength is, right? The fact that these players can slot in, like people aren't paying enough attention to Zinchenko, right? He was told to leave. He was told you're never going to you haven't got a place. He's now been their regular left back for the last couple of weeks, and he's not looked at a place. This is where their strength is, in they can bring in these players and they just do a job because they know the system and they are obviously technically very good players. But I want to talk about Manchester United because I feel like I can't talk about them without being biased. So I'm going to try and be unbiased here because it's what I'm supposed to do, right? I thought
kind of
Luke Shaw is having an incredible season. he has come from nowhere. People thought that he was done after the injury, right? People were calling him fat. He had weight issues. But this season, he has made that left back spot his own. I think maybe Telles coming in and being a threat to him has pushed him on. He's been like, fuck, I need to wake up.
He's the best left back in the league, isn't he? By quite a distance at the moment, I'd say.
I think definitely on form, he is easily the best. He's definitely having a better season than Robertson. I'm going to throw Tierney's name into the hat, but he has too many wobbles to be considered the best yet. I think Shaw has been incredible, and United fans are loving him. His goal was incredible. His run for it, the 1-2, and then the finish was beautiful.
Well, the angle, that's when you're a goalkeeper, that leaves you with your feet on the ground 99 times out of 100.
Yeah, there's no way he was getting to it. And now he has to be England's left back for the Euros. He has to be.
I think it's only him or Chilwell, isn't it? And Chilwell's
exactly
not that good.
But I kind of have to say one thing. I remember a huge controversy around Mourinho when he was Manchester United coach. He singled out Luke Shaw and said that he was shit in the game. And after that, there were kind of like mixed comments online. Some people were like, Mourinho's been too harsh. Somebody was like, Mourinho was right. He needs to single him out. But once again, Tom, you'll tell me, do you think that Luke Shaw maybe saw this as like a motivating factor? Because I kind of see that ever since that happened, he picked up a gruesome injury afterwards. And after that, he's been class.
Yeah, well, it's part of the Mourinho kind of textbook, isn't it? Like you get to a point where results start going your way, and then you start public outing your own players, and then 6 months later he's gone. It's like the way he goes. But I think Shaw's come out himself recently and said that was a big motivating factor to him, and he felt like he wanted to speak out at the time, but he didn't because he wanted to kind of be the bigger guy and stay classy. Because what Mourinho was saying to him, it wasn't just about his weight. He was actually being really degrading about his football intelligence. He was saying that he was having to tell Shaw constantly what to do on the pitch and kind of coach him live throughout entire games. And as a professional footballer at that level, that must be quite a demoralising thing to hear from your own manager. Absolutely. But credit to him for turning that round and coming back, because a lot of players get injuries like that don't come back at all. And to come through that, as well as all the adversity he's had with managers and just not quite get runs in the team, and every time he gets a run he gets a little bit of a niggle, and he never really strings more than 5 or 6 games together. But for that to kind of manifest itself into the season he's having now is brilliant, really, and it's a testament to his character.
But
definitely,
where does this leave us, Rory and then Tom? Man City are still leading the league by 11 points. Does anything change?
It doesn't change anything. I think it's just for United to
beat AC Milan, have the motivation to beat AC Milan.
That's another feather in the cap for Ollie. It's, you can turn around to your mates at work and go, you might be good, but we still beat you, if you know what I mean.
But also I think a little push for this week's fixture against AC Milan.
This is also what United do. They get landmark results where everyone thinks, okay, finally, they've woken up. This is where they go. Yeah. And then they fall away again. Yeah. And this is what they do. So
I think we talked about this the other day, didn't we, Rory, about them? It's like they get to a point where it looks like they're really going to push on. Obviously it's too late now, but they get to points where it looks like, and then just as they get to that point where everyone starts believing they might do it, it drops.
Yeah, exactly. And I think maybe it will get them through the next the first leg against Milan. But I think the motivation for the players, we saw the performance against Palace. There was no motivation there for the league. They were motivated for this game. So I would be intrigued to see.
That's a very good point.
I would be intrigued to see how they next line up in their next game, which I'm not sure off the top of my head what it is.
AC Milan.
I can check. No, their next Milan or the next in the Premier League. I would be intrigued to see how
they've got West Ham next, I think.
That game. They do have West Ham at Old Trafford. Yeah. So that'll be a tricky one for them, eh? That is a tricky one. Yeah. So before we move on to West Ham and Everton, I want to quickly moan about Arsenal. Tom, you can help me.
Sorry, and before you start, since we are live, it's 8:20 p.m. and Chelsea are currently leading against Everton 1-0, thanks to an own goal by Godfrey. Keep this result in mind, Tom, because
I'm watching it on the other screen.
Wow, he's incredible. I've always said
multitasking.
I've known this guy for so long. I've always said he's an incredible. But okay, next game, Arsenal. Rory, it's Arsenal time. Let's go.
So the absolute frustration of this game was palpable. I saw a thing today that Arsenal now lead in the most mistakes leading to goals, the most own goals, and the most red cards over the past 3 seasons.
Nice.
Right? So
over the past 3 seasons?
It is self-harm FC. We are absolutely trying to kill ourselves, and we've done it again this week. We started off really well, Aubameyang putting us in the lead within 6 minutes. And then we just did nothing, and we had a couple of chances. We couldn't score, and then we just gifted them the game. Now, Tom, that Xhaka goal, talk us through it. What the hell? I'm giving it Xhaka, not Chris Wood, because it's Xhaka's goal, right?
It is. Yeah, I mean, it was just. I mean, it's unlucky, really, isn't it? But I mean, the ball out from Leno probably cut Xhaka a little bit short. But you see those balls kind of 5-6 times in every game. That's how they play now, isn't it? They play out from the back. They play the short balls around the box, so players should be more than used to that. And Xhaka took the first touch. He kind of obviously saw the Arsenal player on the far right-hand side out of the corner of his eye. He tried to pass the ball across to him, but he didn't see Chris Wood just stood there. He wasn't even making a play for the ball. He was just stood there. The ball hit him and went in the net. It was... But I think I said to you at the time, Rory, I mean, because Arsenal were on top and they were the better team by some distance at that point, all Arsenal needed to do was just put that out of the mind and just carry on going how they were. But it just seemed to affect them, and then kind of the edge went out of the game. And if anything, Burnley probably had the better chances to win it overall, which is not good.
Well, this is it. I think, yeah, exactly. You're right. Chris Wood had a late on shot, which was a great save from Leno, but he hit it straight at him. I think we only woke up again in the last 10 minutes when Ceballos hit the post, and we had a few moments, but for over an hour of the game, we just did nothing. We just bottled it, and it's another game where Arteta said during the week, we're a long way off where we need to be.
Well, Arsenal have lost it in moments, haven't they? They've lost it in moments. They've got red cards at really bad moments when they're on top of games. They've conceded goals like they did on Sunday or Saturday, and kind of let that affect them. So that's something that Arteta really needs to work on. I think the mentality of the players, how they react to going a goal down or getting someone sent off.
I think this is exactly, and this is what he's looking for in the players that he brings in. I think he's just going to be looking for different mentalities. The fact that he got rid of Mustafi and Kolasinac and all the kind of Socrates and got rid of these players that the mentality wasn't there, you can see that he's ready to bring in his own players now. He just needs to do this. But in the meantime, it's going to be fucking frustrating, and it is incredibly frustrating to watch. I was so comfortable at 1-0. I was like, oh, we're battering him. Saka should have scored. Saka did not have a great game. We praise him when he plays well. We need to say, look, he wasn't great. I know he's young. That's what happens. Young players are inconsistent, right? Xhaka obviously had a nightmare. Tierney was nowhere. Aubameyang didn't touch the ball after the 20th minute. Lacazette spent more time screaming than he did doing anything else when he came on. Like, there was a lot of players that just think we can't get that consistency, and that's what's costing us. But
Rory, I know you might want a welcome distraction here because Pickford's just brought a player down in the box and given a penalty away.
Let's go, Jordan.
Chelsea 2-0. Here we go.
Just Jorginho's
just lining up for the penalty.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Look, live commentary from Tom. Tom, go.
He's just about to take. I can't do commentary. I feel like
is he doing that stutter? Is he doing the stuttered walk yet?
Jorginho's just stepped up to take the penalty. I'll let you know when he's about to do his run up.
Oh.
Here he goes. He's running up now. See how he gets on. Bottom left-hand corner. He stroked it in. Pickford went the wrong way. Easy.
Thank you, Tom Wain from Crew. We're back in Milan, and I just want to say one thing that following that interview with Filippo Giovagnoli, you remember how he said, like, I'm very glad that Arsenal have not signed Arteta because they wanted results. He said that he feels like there is something more behind. So right now, I was just looking at the table. So Arsenal are sitting 12 points above relegation. And
why are you doing this to me, Tommy?
8 points above relegation. Sorry, 12 points above relegations and 8 below like European football. So I feel like it could be a good moment to experiment a few things. If you're going to be right, so you might as well experiment a little bit more. And all
we'll leave Arsenal there because we are running slightly short of time.
I think that we should, before we cover the preview for West Ham Leeds, we need to talk about Liverpool. Just 1 second.
That's so good.
Rory's having a good time. So what is
funny.
Let's not even talk about the game. Just a question for Tom first, and then Rory. What is left for Liverpool this season? Question number 1. And number 2, is the Klopp cycle over?
It's hard to say. It really is hard to say because I mean, he went through a similar cycle at Dortmund, didn't he? Where he had kind of 4 or 5 really, really successful years, and then his last year did fall off a cliff, probably worse than he's doing at Liverpool at the moment. So it's really hard to say, but it looks like it because it's not. He seems to think it's not due to lack of effort, but it is. I mean, you're looking at the way they play at the moment, especially at home. They're looking off the mark. The players don't want to run for each other. They're just kind of taking easy passes. They're not taking those through balls. The way they were playing the last couple of seasons with their counter attacking and breaking really quickly and being explosive, and most of all incredibly clinical with that front three. It's just not there at the moment, and to be frank, it looks like they're not playing for him, which is not good. And he might be able to get it back, but it doesn't look good for him, if I'm honest.
Yeah, well, to pick up on Tom's point, I think if you look at the Fulham goal, is scored through lazy defending from Salah.
Yeah.
He's got the ball, and he doesn't see the player coming behind him. He tries to fanny about with it, and the player steals it off him, Lamina, and just bangs it into the net. That is lazy defending. It is not being concentrated. It's not that cutting edge that they had a year ago, and this is what is costing them. That is what's costing them, and the fact they just cannot score goals. They just can't score goals, and to be fair to Klopp, he tried to ring the changes. I think he made 6 or 7 changes from the game before. The whole defense was basically new, apart from Robertson. He started Jota.
That
he started
defense doesn't
Shaqiri.
look solid, really.
He started Jota. He started Shaqiri. The midfield was completely different. Keita, Wijnaldum, and Milner. Right? I think he really did not. He's trying everything. It's just not working. I think. I was talking to Chris over it, as regular listeners will know, is my cousin who's a Liverpool fan, and
is he watching right now?
I'm not sure. It might be a bit too early for him, but he was saying, and I saw the similarities between when Arsenal went. I know I compare everything to Arsenal. I apologize, guys. I see everything through the prism of Arsenal, but it was similar to when Arsenal went through that really shitty run. I can see exactly the same things in Liverpool. Like Tom said, the easy passes, the lack of pressing, the backward passes, nobody running up front. It's the same thing. It's just when confidence is gone. And now for them to lose 6 games at home in a row, never been done before in Liverpool's history.
Holy crap. 6 games in
a
row at
home they've lost. Never before in their history. This is like literally groundbreaking form for Liverpool.
And I'm only enjoying it a little bit.
He is too. Chris,
find it hilarious.
Shut your ears.
I find it absolutely hilarious.
One thing that I wanted to say is that I think it's like really, in Italian we say piovere sul bagnato. It rains on wet ground. When it rains, it pours. Klopp's mother died. Alisson's father died. And all of this is happening while the form of the squad is like this. So I'm not saying that is the cause, but I'm just saying that when it rains,
they've had a lot to deal with this year. They've had the injury. Like, no matter what you say, the injuries do make a difference. Anyone's going to miss Van Dijk. Anyone's going to miss Henderson. Like, it's people laugh about it on Twitter, but it's like if United lost Maguire, they'd be in bloody trouble. And Van Dijk is twice the player of Maguire, right?
Yeah.
If like, I don't know, if Chelsea lost Kante, they'd struggle. If you know what I mean, they're losing that like key players in their team, and they've lost 2 of them. So of course they're going to struggle. Of course the system's falling apart. I think Liverpool would still be fucking stupid to sack Klopp, and I don't think
I don't think they're going to.
Because at the end of the day, who else do you get?
No.
Beyond Guardiola, who else do you get? Like
Aaron Rodgers is going to come back.
There's no one else to get. So I think
they need some fresh blood in the summer. That's for sure. I mean, they need to invest heavily, and not just in numbers, but in quality as well. Because I mean, the main difference between Liverpool and City is if you get both their top 11s side by side, they're pretty much the same.
Yeah.
In terms of like how good they are, but the depth of squad that Man City have, and you look at their teams, they have £500 million on the pitch, another 300 on the bench. It's impossible to compete with that over a prolonged period of time. And Liverpool have done incredibly well to do what they have, but to do that over a period of 4 or 5 years is almost impossible because you're bound to get bad seasons where you get injuries. City can absorb it, Liverpool can't. I mean, I think it comes down to that if you want to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I think just a quick message, any Liverpool fans that are tweeting Klopp out, you are the most ungrateful bastards I've ever seen. You do not know how lucky you are and how many clubs would kill to have 2 seasons where you win the Champions League and the league. Grow up, for God's sake. Like,
nice. And right now, just to make a point of the situation, I just want to say that, let me open it again. Liverpool are sitting Oh my God, I can't even do the math. It's a lot of points. It's 22 points below top spot. Guys, very quickly, we're running out of time because in 15 minutes there is the kickoff for Inter-Atalanta. So I'm going to review the Serie A weekend very, very quickly. On Saturday night, the big game was Juventus-Lazio after a very, very, very poor pass from Kulusevski. Joaquin Correa dribbles the Juventus defense to make it 1-0. Guess what? That wasn't enough. Alvaro Morata was on one and he delivered an assist and 2 goals, one from the penalty spot. We also saw the image of Cristiano Ronaldo, who was being rested in the bench ahead of the game against Porto, looking at Alvaro and going like, there you go, buddy. This is what you need to do. Tom, I'm sorry, I know you're a Lazio fan, but a very quick thought on this game, super quick.
It was actually bittersweet for me because I am a Lazio fan, but I had Juventus to win on my accumulator. So to be honest, as much as I wanted Lazio to win, it wasn't at the cost of losing my bet. So I'm actually really glad Juventus won. But yeah, it was a very slow start from Juve. They were very poor in the first probably half an hour. Lazio deservedly took the lead, but then probably after that point, I think Juve just did normal Juve. They dominated the ball. They got the ball forward. Initially without much quality in the box, but then as the game wore on, they just kind of took more and more dominance. And then they did eventually have that quality to overcome Lazio, really. And once they did that, Lazio didn't really have any answers.
Agreed. And on Sunday, the first 1-0 against Genoa, confirming their stellar form against below 7th place clubs. Well, they just don't have to play top 6 opposition and they'll do the job. Crotone like snatching a key win against the Torino 4-2. That was an incredible win. Well, they're still in dire straits. They're 7 points behind safety, but who knows that Serse Cosmi might bring something new in the mix.
That's more a bad result for Torino than it is a good result for Crotone.
Yeah.
I think it's more like it's put Torino in the shit than it's given Crotone a lifeline. But that, for me, ruined my accumulator on the Sunday, and I'll have to message Matey in the group and thank him for costing me a couple of pounds. But yeah, great performance though, and great result. I feel like Crotone,
at times they hit the stride.
They play, every time I've seen them, they play quite well. I don't know.
They play football, and sometimes they just get counter-attacked on. Then very interesting game, Fiorentina-Parma 3-3. Definitely a better result from Fiorentina, who are now, well, still only 6 points below the drop zone, but Parma are in it, and they need the 6 points for safety at the moment. AC Milan making it a pretty comfortable win against Hellas Verona with goals by Krunic. Ooh, go check out that free kick. That was class. And Dalot, and then Napoli going back to winning ways, braced by Insigne and Osimhen. But we've got only 10, 12
and we need to
left.
talk about West Ham Everton. We've not talked about West Ham Everton yet. So Thomas, West Ham Leeds. Sorry, I'm going
to take advantage of this moment to exchange my seat with the man who is going to preview the Atalanta Inter game. His name is Michael O'Malley. I'm going to leave a little round of applause for him.
Here we go, Michael. Let's go.
Round of applause.
Here we go. So before we move to the Atalanta Inter game, Thomas, talk us through West Ham Leeds tonight. How are you feeling? And what a season for David Moyes' boys is.
Yeah, so just quickly on the game, I mean, it's been an incredible season really so far. But yeah, the game itself, I mean, like I said at the start of the podcast, I'm pleasantly optimistic for the game. The only doubt I had was both of our first choice keepers were both injury doubts, which would have been a bit of an issue. But thankfully, Fabianski's passed. I just had a look at the team now. So Fabianski's in there, which is safe. Overall, I'm confident as you can be. We're in really good form. Leeds have been hit and miss. We've already beaten them this season, but you never know. Leeds are exceptional on the day. They really do turn it on when they want to. But I'm confident we've got enough given recent form and everything else. But genuinely, you never know. I'm still kind of waiting for our season to collapse. I feel like that just has to happen eventually. It's the West Ham way. Something has to go wrong. But
there's always that noise in the back of your head, right? It's always there. But I was looking at the result last time. You won 2-1. Goals from Souček and Ogbonna, who have been two of your players of the season in this, I think, surprising season for everyone. Yeah,
it's been utterly unbelievable. The man you've got to give the most credit to is David Moyes. I mean, the guy's just. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I was in favour of it because we had him before he got sacked. He did a decent job first time, nothing spectacular, but he did a decent job, and then he got sacked for Pellegrini, who, in my opinion, is one of the worst West Ham managers ever in terms of like pound for pound what he spent, the expectation he had on him, and everything else. But he went, we got him back in. I was not happy that he came back. I thought it was a big downward step. It was kind of just taking the cheapest option, as did the vast majority of West Ham fans. But the guy's been excellent. The kind of tactical awareness he's brought in, the players he's brought in, just the kind of general feel-good factor around the club. You can tell he's got a group of players now that are all playing for each other, and it is just amazing, really.
It's great to see. I think it's finally like you can see a team, you're right, that have great team spirit. They know the system. You've got some sprinkled in there, some very, very good players. That midfield is unbelievable. Souček and Rice together. Antonio doing all that shift up front. You've got Soufal, who I'm absolutely in love with. Every time I play him, I think that guy is a monster. I think it's a really good squad there together, and they know the system they're playing. So
I'll go through a few of the players. I mean, you've got to start with Declan Rice. I mean, I know perhaps I don't know whether you see that much of him in Italy. Tommy, but he's I think he is now. I think it's probably fair to say, and I don't say this lightly. I don't think I've ever said it with a West Ham player. I think he is world class now. I think perhaps the only thing he possibly needs to add is a few more goals, but he has started breaking forward and getting into the box a little bit more. So I think that's a matter of time. But the guy is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, if you just focus on what he does in a game, he is exceptional, and that is complemented by obviously Souček, the Czech Republic midfielder we bought in just over a year ago. He got compared to Fellaini, but I actually think that's an unfair comparison in Souček's favour because he offers a lot more than Fellaini. I think on the ground he's good with the ball at his feet. He gets into the box at the right times. He scores goals. He's good at defending. He passes the ball around nicely. He seems to be a complete midfielder, and it's hard to pick in between him and Rice at the moment, which is an incredible thing. I wouldn't have thought we'd get anybody that would come anywhere near Rice. And then, as you mentioned, Rory as well. We've got his compatriot Soufal, who we signed in the summer. He was somebody that we'd never heard of. We thought he was again similar to Moyes as a manager. We thought he was just a cheap and cheerful sign-in. We thought it was an easy sign-in. Just pick one of Souček's teammates because he turned out to be quite good. But he's been a revelation in his own right. I mean, genuinely, the guy gets up and down the pitch. I mean, there's some of the players have come out and commented saying it's ridiculous how fit he is, and they genuinely said they believe he could play 3 or 4 games in a day if he wanted to. He's that fit. He's an absolute machine, and he's got the quality to go with it as well. So we've unearthed a real diamond there.
That's good to see. Thomas, we're going to have to cut you off there because we do need to talk about Atalanta and Inter. Michael, you are here. You're with us. How are you feeling, Michael, ahead of this game? Kind of bitter rivals, Atalanta, right? There's not much love lost between the two teams.
We hate each other.
So, are you feeling confident, or?
I am, although it's a very difficult game. It's a lot harder than the AC Milan game, than the derby, and it's on level with the Juventus game. Atalanta has been playing exceptionally well. I hate the team, but I have a lot of respect for them. They are scary.
Well, this is it. You have to at least admire the football they play, right?
Yeah. They play beautiful football, and they're very well organized. What makes me confident about today's game is that even a draw could be a decent result for us.
Okay.
We don't have to win today.
So there's more pressure on them than there is on you, do you think?
Yeah, even though I don't think they expect to beat Inter. So I don't think they are going to play with great pressure as well. But for them, it's a big test because they have Real Madrid next week. And
that's true. And that is that they could still win that game. They could still win the tie. So their focus is still going to be there. But if you have to say there's an area where the game is going to be won or lost, where do you think the key area is?
Well, I think Inter are going to play more on the counter-attack. I can see Atalanta more controlling the ball.
Okay.
The counter-attacks from Inter are going to be decisive, as we have seen in the last games. So I would say we have a very interesting matchup on the right wing with Hakimi going against Gosens, who's been the best left winger in the Serie A this season. Two very physical players. That would be an interesting matchup. So, and I think on the wings, and we'll see in the end who makes less mistakes.
Yeah, well, I feel like if Atalanta give Lukaku space to run into, because they do play a high line, right? If they give Lukaku space, there's going to be trouble. But with Atalanta, as we've seen many times, you don't know what's going to happen, right?
No.
They'll either get battered 5-0, much like a Leeds, like we've talked about. They'll either get battered 5-0 or they'll win 5-0. There's no kind of middle ground, right?
I expect this game actually to be quite tight.
Okay.
The last games between Inter and Atalanta were quite tight, and I expect this one to be pretty much the same. But we the first game, I think it was in December, was a kind of a turning point for Inter. We drew 1-1 with Atalanta. Maybe we didn't deserve to draw that game. Where Atalanta missed a penalty at the last minute.
Okay. Yeah.
But that was a turning point for us. So I think we are a more mature team now, and we'll show it tonight.
I hope so. We're all going to sit here and watch the game, right? Hopefully we'll see Inter winning. Thomas, what have you made of the Serie A season so far? Are you enjoying this cross Milan title race?
I mean, it's just lovely to see a title race that isn't already over by now, right?
It's a relief.
Because unfortunately, with nine years dominance by Juve, it is a little bit one-sided. But yeah, it's fantastic to see because, I mean, growing up obviously in England, the two Milan clubs, particularly AC, with all the players that they had over the years, they're kind of held in real high regard by British and English fans. So it's amazing to see the two clubs facing off, and hopefully one of them, hopefully Inter Milan can see through the job and win the league.
Correct answer, Thomas. Not either one. Yeah,
because I think Italian football needs it, to be honest, because it starts to become a little bit repetitive after a while with Juventus just totally dominating.
Well, I have to say I'm a bit more scared of Juventus right now than I am of AC Milan.
Yeah,
they're like a shark in the background, right? You can just see them come in and eyeing it up, and
they're a game behind. They still have to play Napoli, and they might get 2 points out of the Lazio case for the COVID.
Oh, really?
Apparently, it's an ongoing investigation right now. Lotito, Lazio's president, he didn't declare that some of the players had tested positive.
I remember this now. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And Lazio drew with Juventus, and Juventus might be awarded the victory, so they might get an extra 2 points. So they are creeping back up.
They've got that cold, dead stare. You can see the players just like, I think Morata was shouting something on the pitch last night. Like they're coming for it. But I think, a positive result tonight, and hopefully we can be dancing in Duomo. Touch wood, we will be dancing in Duomo, right?
I'm confident that if we win this game, the rest of the season will be. I wouldn't say easy, but it won't be as hectic as we are used to.
It's all about that second to last game where you're playing Juventus. That is the tense one. If there's anything resting on that, that's going to be huge.
I hope to.
Yeah, it might play into Milan's favour that they're not in Europe anymore as well. I think that makes a big difference because you've got one focus.
Well, that's it. I think, I think Tommy said it last week on the pod. Conte, with time to plan for an opposition, is up there as the best managers in the world.
Yes.
And he has full weeks now to prepare for every opposition in Serie A. But because the game is going to kick off in less than 1 minute, we are going to end it there, guys. Tom, thanks for coming on. This will not be your last appearance. You can come on and review West Ham's season at the end of the season. What do you think?
Yep, sounds good to me. Thanks for having me, guys.
Beautiful. So thanks, listeners. Thanks, viewers. Thanks for being here. We're going to run off and watch, hopefully, Inter get the 3 points.
Forza Inter.
Forza Inter. Get 3 points.
And West Ham beat Leeds, more importantly. So thank you, guys. We will see you next week. This is the Anglo-Italian Pod. Follow us on Insta at Anglo-Italian Pod and Twitter at Italian Anglo Pod. Bye for now, guys.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.